DJ Blake back with another one. Alright, yep.
Me and my niggas. It's just me and my niggas. Yeah. Me and my niggas always had a plan. We get this bread up and we stack the bands. Before the stages and the raging fans, we dream the jets in places we can land.
Possess the right thinking. Only then can one receive the gifts of strength, knowledge, and peace.
This is life of an oddball. Let's get it. I hear a lot of people over here talking about my side. How my side ain't this and my side ain't that. Let me tell you like this. You don't ride how we ride. You coming for us, you better come correct, nigga. Yeah. Bitch. Yeah. I've been a legend since 96. Find Mob in a team that I've been riding with. Unchained like Django. I'm the rap game's archangel. Vivid living like 90 sets. I'm living life right like angles. V4, 5 fum. I came, I conquered. Like Kanye said, I'm a fucking monster. I look in the mirror like, who am I? Change for the worst and I wonder why. Clown names get into my head. Bad decisions, yeah, I made my bed. Never thinking through anything. My confidence had ruined everything. Never realized all the love I got until I went and lost the fucking wedding ring. Now I'm having thoughts in my head. Martin had a dream, I'm having nightmares instead. I had the bag and I fumbled it. I made the pain, now I'm numbing it. Always go wild on dummy shit. Abusing the heart like I was fucking done with it, yeah.
Leslie?
I haven't slept in weeks. Yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Ooh.
This is DJ Blake. My next guest not only makes great music, but also surrounds himself with very talented artists. Artists such as the GFB Gang and Bryce Bowden are a few that I've been lucky enough to have on the podcast. This man completely is about his business. He currently goes to school at Central Washington University. He performs in his college town, and then when he's back in Seattle, he's performing here too. I've seen nothing but talented artists from Kent, Washington, and he's no exception. If you don't know him, you better get to know him. John Thomas.
John Thomas in his bitch. John Thomas in his bitch. Yeah, loner lately, yeah, I'm in my zone. Not enough to go around, I need a clone. Tryna bang my line, they on my phone. They all up in my business like a drone. Not worry about these groupies at my shows. Got a couple valley girls I call my own. Nothing like my papa on the snow.
Welcome back, everyone. This is DJ Blake, keeping you up to date with all the hottest hip-hop news and sneaker talk. And today, I'm with a very special guest, the one and only John Thomas.
In this bitch. How you doing? Best ad-lib in the game, I'd like to add. I'm just saying.
What's your ad-lib? Just
John Thomas in this bitch.
Oh, that is my bad.
John Thomas in this bitch.
That's so long, though.
It is.
It's like a sentence.
It is, but at the same time, like, if I'm walking around campus, people will literally look at me and go, John Thomas in this bitch. So I'm just like, you know what? That's it. That's the ad-lib. Like, I finally have a cool ad-lib, so I'm just going to run with it.
There we go. Dude, when I first saw your name, I was completely off when I thought this, but like I need to get this out of the way. I thought of the Terminator because I thought for a long time it was John Thomas, but it's John Connor. John Connor, John Thomas. It sounds the same kind of, you know?
Fun fact. When people hear my name, like when I played that Mark Battle show back in November, like I walked up to them and I was like, oh, introducing myself, like greeting, like, oh, hi, nice to meet you. Like, I'm John Thomas. And they were like, we're not going to lie, we thought you were white. So I was like, oh, man. I was like, whoa, all right. So I guess I have a white name, apparently.
Wow.
Apparently. Allegedly. That's what they said.
I don't know. It's because it's like almost so generic. It seems like a stage name in a way.
Yeah, that's what you'd think. That's what you think. Like, the way I got my name, like literally, it is really just my real name. Like, it's my first and my middle name. Well, one of my middle names. We're not gonna over here list out the entire government.
It's probably like 5 or something.
It's long. That's all we need to know is that my government name is long, and John Thomas is actually part of my real name. So
that's very interesting. Wait, so can we have your social security number also, real quick?
No. 5. No, I'm just playing with you.
But yeah, we're here. Like, I didn't realize actually how connected this guy is. Actually, you're pretty connected. The first thing he said when he came in, he's like, "Dude, you know Bryce Bowden?" And that Bryce Bowden, I like fanboy over that.
That's
guy.
my guy, man.
Dude, and he still hands out CDs, which I love CDs. Actually, I collect CDs. So.
Oh, for sure. Like, he's actually one of the people that really kind of got me into music. Fun story. Story time with John Thomas.
Please.
Dun 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 dun. Yeah. So basically, I'm from a town called Kent. Love that place. Shout out to everybody in Kent. And there is a music conglomerate in my area called Fine Malt Lyrics, and they kind of had people from multiple high schools. There's like 4 big high schools, and a lot of them went to a lot of the high schools around the area and kind of came together to make music. And that's actually how I got my start. Like, my best friend Thomas, his cousin was in Fine Malt Lyrics. Shout out Trey Ross. Edibles out.
Hey.
Yeah, Trey Ross and Bryce Bowden. Yeah. So basically, like, I was just like the friend that was always there just kind of freestyling, because it's like I didn't actually have no music connections. I didn't have any way to like actually record. Yeah. But I had like a mind full of ideas, so I would just like spew them. And then I was rapping with them one day, and they were like, "John, you can rap. Why don't you start taking it serious?" I was like, no, I'm like 18, so I'm like, nah. Like, what am I going to do? I don't even have a place to record. So like, but they were like, no. Take it seriously. Like, if you can write a fire verse, you can come to our show with us and perform on stage.
Oh.
So this is my first show ever, because I was like, bet, like, this is I actually want to try and see what I can do.
Yeah.
So I write this verse. It was before like I was lyrically inclined, but it wasn't bad. Like, you know, like the flow was there. I hadn't really found my sound yet, but it was cool, like, metaphorically speaking. Like, there was some cool stuff in there. Like, I was like, this shit kind of hard. So day comes, and keep in mind, we're opening up for Audio Push and Vince Staples.
Oh shit, dude! No one talks about Audio Push anymore. Push, not Push.
Audio Push is nice. Dude. They are nice. Oh. But yeah, like, that was like my first show ever. So I go up on stage, the beat's going the dun 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 dun. It's bumping hard. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm ready. I go up on stage. I look out into this crowd, blank. Like, I was like, and I started freestyling. But yeah, after that, they were like, you know what, like,
get out of here.
It's the no, they weren't like get out of here, but they were just like, okay, it's your first show, like, we get it, but like, if you're gonna do this, like, you got to take it seriously. So that was kind of like, yeah, it was embarrassing, but it like also showed me like. The verse was fire before I got on stage, so I just need to like take some time, get over my little stage fright, and really start writing, because like I can tell like they liked it, people were vibing to it, so that means like I have room to improve. So that's what I did. That's exactly what I did. Yeah. And I started writing the song "Vivid." That's on Life and Oddball debut EP, out SoundCloud exclusively.
SoundCloud exclusive. Only exclusive shit, man. But yeah, I started writing that song when I was like 18, because it was like the first like song that I took, and like took real events, right? Instead of just like writing swag verse. Like, this is like the first song where I actually like put into the emotions that I was feeling. But it was very incomplete because I hadn't been through enough. I was only like 18. So basically what I did is I like took that song and I worked on it until I was, actually, I think I released that song on my 22nd birthday. And you made it when you were 18?
I started writing when I was 18. Did not come out until I was 22. Damn. Just because I wanted to harness like all those emotions like I was feeling when I was 18 and kind of put them to the test after I had actually experienced life a little bit. Wow. So there's you grow a lot between the ages of 18 and 22. So I took that, and to make sure that I had gotten over my stage fright, I played it in front of like a live audience at my college. And college students can be ruthless. There was like an open mic night, and I even like enlisted. I had like the instrumental and everything ready. Like I enlisted a guitarist. I had live vocalists with me because I wanted to make sure like I am really over this. Like if we're going to test this, we're going to test it right. So we did the damn thing, killed it, just like completely over my stage fright. And so like if it weren't for Fine Malt Lyrics kind of like putting me on, being like, hey, and like actually having hope in me, even exactly, even through like my failure, my self-dubbed failure, it actually made me better. And to this day, like they're still like riding with me. Like they've been riding with me since day one. So shout out to them. Dude. And then I've known Bryce because Trey and Bryce, they've been such close homies for so long that it's like Bryce was always there as well. Like every time I'm over at the Cool, I say what's up to Bryce.
Bryce's lyrics are insane.
Oh, he's nasty.
Dude, that's funny though that a white guy is like doing hip hop, and then the white guy doing hip hop encourages the black guy to start hip hop. Nasty. Like, bro, there's a lot of really good musicians in Fine Malt Lyrics. Like, dude,
it's nuts. Like, it's crazy. There's a lot of talent in my area in general. Like, people gloss over Kent.
Dude, hella. And
I just don't know why. To this point, like, you have the entire GFB conglomerate, all of FML. You've got
I don't know much about FML.
Bro, I'll show you some stuff. You got L Wavy. You know, like, you got tons of people coming out of Kent. Artist that went to my high school, Charles. He's putting out some stuff coming out here soon. Like, I just did a feature for him. I don't know exactly. I can't give you guys exactly a date on when it's coming out. But what I can tell you is that it's fucking fire. And it's just like people gloss over it just because we're not Seattle.
But people like talk about Tacoma.
That's true. That too. It's because we're not necessarily a big city. Like when you think about Kent, like you don't really think about anything because nobody.
The Kent races.
Yeah, nobody really knows about anything in Kent except for Kent Station, the Kent races, and the Showware Center. That's like that's all that people think about. It's like when you think about Kent, you don't really think about music.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of cities have their own little venues that you can record it, like perform at. You probably. Small artists can't probably perform at Showware, can they?
Not that I know of. I haven't heard anybody really playing Showware. That's more, it's more of like a big name artist thing. Like, and even like rap wise, I think ASAP was there.
Yeah, he was. That was the last artist I was thinking.
Yeah, like ASAP was there, but for the most part, it's like a lot of metal bands. Like I know Megadeth played there. Like that's one of the bigger shows, and I know they do a couple of comedy shows there. Like I saw Joe Coy there. 2 years ago now? Dude,
when Joe Rogan and Dave Chappelle came, I wanted to go so bad to that.
Oh, me too. Good luck getting tickets though. That shit sold out so fast.
That was insane.
That shit sold out so fast. It was just hot. Like I was like, oh yeah, I saw it and I was like, okay, let me try to get tickets. Sold out immediately. I was like, well, fuck me, right? Yep.
I like Kent because like the artists there that I've talked to, they're like really about the lyrics and stuff, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know, like, I'm just not into, like, auto-tune to the point that you can't really hear what's going on. And, like, that's, like, the wave right now because I have Little Mosey and all that stuff.
The thing is, like, there is so many different... That's why I like hip-hop. I love hip-hop. And that's why this generation especially, where me personally, I personally love my lyrical rap. Yeah. That's me, like... I'm somebody who really looks forward to a new Kendrick Lamar project, a new J. Cole project, new Freddie Gibbs project. Like, it's like, you know, like, I'm looking forward to that raw lyricism, you know, that raw passion they bring into their music. But at the same time, like, I also like to rage, you know? Like, sometimes I just like to be in my, like, cool little mood where it's just like, I want to let go of everything. And I just really want to vibe. And that's why I'm listening to artists like Travis Scott. That's why I'm listening to artists like Thugger, Gunna, Lil Baby.
But they do it to a different level.
They do, because they be kind of mixing it both. They're all geniuses. Like everybody that I just mentioned, geniuses. You know, they're saying crazy stuff. But at the same time, like, you would never notice because it's just a vibe.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like. That's why I like a lot of the artists in Kent, because you've got a little bit of everything. It's just a hot pot of creativity. And, like, I love that. Like, you could listen to 4 different artists in my area and get 4 different vibes entirely.
Dude, yeah.
But still be able to vibe to them all. And that's something that's so important.
They're genuine about it.
They're genuine. It's a bunch of genuine artists. You know? Like my guy Kid Cambo. Like, if you're in a singing, like Kid Cambo, like, you'll just be in your vibe and you'll really just be flowing. Or if you want to hear some lyrics, like my guy Ace B.
Yeah, I need to reach out to Adrian Lockhart. I haven't interviewed that guy either. Do you like that guy?
That man can sing. That's my guy. I actually
he's fire.
So I was actually I played the Hard Rock Cafe with GFB, Ace B. Adrian was on there, and it was awesome. Like, he's really cool guy. Like, I'm looking forward 2019. I wanted to try to get together and collab a little bit, but it's like I got really busy towards the end, especially with the Me and My Music video coming out. So it's like I was shooting in multiple locations, like trying to get to the studio to get like new stuff recorded, just because like I have so much material of my own that I didn't really have a lot of time for like collaboration. 2020 on the other hand, different story. Like, it's going to be a year of me mastering singles. It's going to be a year of really marketing and trying to crack the algorithm on every single platform. And it's going to be me collaborating with different artists that I didn't get to collaborate in 19 that I really wanted to.
Do you think cracking the algorithm includes getting features from outside of Seattle, though? Because I don't really see like a lot of artists go into outside of Seattle.
Yes.
Huh.
Like, quite simply put, yeah. And this is why, because you got to think. Yes, if you're Spotify, your SoundCloud, whatever platform that you're streaming through, yes, it has the potential to reach to other places. Now, think if you collaborate with an artist coming out of California. Think if you collaborate with an artist coming out of New York. Think about if you collaborate with an artist coming out of Canada. And if they're doing the same thing that you're doing in your area, why would those people, their supporters in their area, not listen to that song because they have fans out there? So now, if they really like that song that you guys just put out, you just got new fans in different areas of the world. You know what I'm saying? So collaboration, I think that's a big part of cracking this algorithm that I'm talking about, just because there's so much potential to find new fans in different places. You never know where your fans are going to lie. That's why you got to get your music out everywhere. And that's 2020, man. I'm telling you, like, that's going to be my goal, is getting my music absolutely everywhere, collaborating with artists that I think are dope from all over the place. Not just my area. But with that being said, it will be a very focused year on artists in Kent as well, just because I feel like my city doesn't get a lot of love. When we have so much talent to give out and to show everybody. So, like, I really want to take a lot of time and do a lot of music with artists in my city, as well as artists from all over the place. Like, if I think they're dope, let's get something together. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, like, it's just going to be a year of putting out a lot of collaborative effort and really just trying to get everybody's name out there at the same time. Because why eat at an empty table? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's boring. Who the hell am I going to talk to? Myself? No. Like, why eat by myself when I can have an entire team of dudes that are working just as hard as me? You know what I'm saying? Eating as well.
Yes. So you see so many artists come to Seattle, but why don't you see them collaborating with Seattle artists, really?
It's because this is just my personal opinion. They don't actually care about the culture in Seattle. It's just because we got like hype crowds. You know, like, you know that if we really rock with you in Seattle, we're going to show up. We are one of the most lit cities.
12th man.
Anywhere, like, one of the most lit cities anywhere. So it's like, we're going to bring energy. But at the same time, when it's time to show love, people don't want to show love. And that's just the way it is. And I wouldn't even say that necessarily it's just in Seattle. I'd just say that's the music scene in general.
Interesting. I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah, like, when it's time to truly show love, people, it's just crickets.
There are genuine artists who love Seattle. Like, do you know who Black Party is?
I can't say that I do, but I'm down to listen.
Dude, he's dope. He got signed by Childish Gambino, and he's like all the way from Little Rock, Arkansas. Basically, I interviewed him. He's like, dude, I love Seattle. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And he's like, bro, I love Seattle. Pulls up his sleeve. He's like a Nirvana tattoo on his wrist.
That's crazy.
And he's from Little Rock.
See, that's lit. See, but I feel like a lot of people don't really appreciate the culture that we put out in Seattle, because you got to think, like, we're one of the more grungy cities in America, and like a lot of people, I just don't think they can really appreciate like the artistic nature of our city, or appreciate like the history of our city. Yeah, they're gonna know like the bigger artists and everything like that, but like knowing of the history and appreciating the history are two different things. And I feel like that's a lot of the reason why, like we don't necessarily get glossed over, but why you're not finding, like, people aren't going out of their way to Seattle. It's not like in LA where it's like
people fly down there.
People are flying down there. Everybody knows that's a hot spot. Like at one point, I think Seattle was like a really big place. Yeah. Which, don't get me wrong, I still think it's like a hot spot for talent. There's so much talent within Washington State in general, all over the place. But it's in areas that you never really think to look. And in Seattle, it's just not like a big hotspot, you know? Like when you're thinking of like hip hop, where are you thinking of?
Macklemore.
Yeah, yeah, like that's really all we got. But when I'm thinking about like hip hop, a lot of those artists are coming out of the Atlantas. They're coming out of L.A. You know, they're coming out of New York.
That's true.
And it's just like historically speaking,
that's
like,
where it's always is though.
Yeah, like historically speaking, like that's where it's kind of always been. Especially look through the gangster rap area. It was predominantly L.A., predominantly New York. Not much has really changed. I mean, yeah, when Outkast came onto the scene, that's when ATL really started like stepping up, and especially you got Quality Control now.
QC.
Yeah, shoot, and they are just booming, just booming. So it's just like, I think it's because we don't have any of the really major labels or anything that are like here.
Do we have labels out here?
I don't think of any really predominant ones. When
there's not a label out here that you can like make millions of dollars off of being here.
Not off the top of my head. I know that there's definitely a lot of smaller labels here, but like all the really big booming labels are in the cities that I really just mentioned.
For sure. That's.
And you see what I'm saying, and I think that's part of the not the problem, part of the reason why people don't necessarily look at Seattle, because it's not necessarily a hot spot. Yes, it's a hotbed full of talent. Yeah. But it's almost like people almost treat Seattle as almost like a farm state. You know what I'm saying? Like we breed artists, they get brought out to all these other different places.
Yeah,
a lot of Seattle artists, they're gonna go to LA. But a lot of that also stems from artists in Washington not showing love to one another either. Like a lot of people don't have the mentality of why eat alone when I can eat together with like a team, and like why blow up by myself. Like a lot of people don't necessarily have that. A lot of people are just kind of thinking about themselves. Like the scene. I'm gonna keep it frank. Like the scene over in Seattle is like, it's very dog eat dog.
Everyone says that.
It's nobody wants to come together. Like maybe you'll collaborate, but at the end of the day, a lot of people don't actually want to see you succeed, or they want to see you succeed, just not as much as them. And that is tough to me. Like that could not be me. Like obviously, music is competition. Obviously, like it's a very cutthroat industry. But at the same time, like why would you not want to see your homies doing as well as you? Like that's so ugly. Like, come on, get off that. And that's what I'm trying to build with like my music, with like my influence. It's like I want to push Seattle, not even just Seattle, like Washington State in general, and start collaborating more and getting everybody to elevate, not just me. Because it's like I don't want to just like excel by myself. Like
only at the top of the mountain.
Yeah. Like what fun is that? Like
if the homies can't have none, you know?
Yeah, like what's the point of putting myself on when I can put an entire state on the map? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like not even on the map, because there is like you said, there's a couple artists that are coming out of Seattle that are doing it big, like historically speaking. But like there should be no reason with the amount of talent that Washington has and that Seattle has that we're not a hotbed too.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Do you think it's the artist's job to spotlight Seattle, though? Or their city in general?
I mean, you got to think about. I think so. Yeah, I don't think solely it's their responsibility, but at the same time, like I think they play a big part in that. Just because, like, if this is a place where you're from, why not show love to the place that you're from?
Mm-hmm.
Like, as musical artists, like we have an influence. So if you're not really using like that musical influence that you have, that quote unquote clout that you have
Right.
to really elevate your city, then you can't really complain
Mm-hmm.
at the fact that your city's not elevated. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like you have the power to do so, but you're choosing not to. That's kind of part of the problem.
But why do they choose it? Like, why does like a Little Mosey and those type of people choose not to? Because I've actually found huge artists that have come out of Seattle, and I'm like, what? This person's from Seattle?
Yeah, and I think I'm not them, so I can't personally speak on what's going on in
Right.
their mind, but this is my take on it. I think it could be possibly because of the fact that Seattle has been so cutthroat. Like it's people will stab you in the back whatever chance you get because they don't want to see you succeed as well as much as they are. I think it's that has really like pushed people away from the Seattle scene because there's no togetherness. And that I see that more on the west side than I do on the east side though. Because on the east side, like over in that Spokane area, they're showing out. Like they're showing love on each other's posts like that because they're really trying to get Spokane to elevate, and they need to have that same mentality everywhere.
They know they need that because it's Spokane.
Yeah.
One's out. They know that.
But at the same time, think about it. Shouldn't Washington know that too? Shouldn't they know that like we need that too?
Huh.
You know, and that's why I have so much respect for those guys on the east side because they're really out here getting it out the mud, like grinding to get to where they are. But it's not just individually; it's like
community.
It's a community.
Yeah.
In Seattle, like the Seattle area, like on the west side exclusively, like you don't get that camaraderie, and that's part of the problem. That's why like this side's they're not elevating to where they could be. And it's like I don't like that. I really want to change that. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think there's artists that deserve to blow up, or does it all just come with time? Do you?
I think that there's artists that definitely have the talent, that definitely have the drive, definitely have the creativity to blow up. And I think that some people have a leg above other people, a leg ahead of people because of this drive and this talent. But I don't think that like it's earned.
But how does someone like Little Mosey blow up and then Bryce Bowden, who's been making music forever, doesn't? Like, how does stuff like that happen when Bryce is almost 30 and then Little Mosey is almost 18, 19?
It's because of the shifting of the generations. You just got it. It's all marketing.
But that's like selling out. I feel like marketing in a way is selling out if you're not trying to be unique.
You can still be unique and stay true to your sound, though.
But people don't realize that.
They don't, and that's part of the problem. And that's like kind of the answer to the question.
Yeah.
Is because you got to be able to. It's realistically all marketing.
But why don't people use like Macklemore as an idol to like have their own sound? Because he has his own sound, but people focus on how Little Mosey made it versus instead of how Macklemore made it.
Because no disrespect to Macklemore,
right?
By any means. Like I've seen him live. That guy can perform. Like
he looks like a dad, bro.
Yeah, I've been. Hey, like I personally liked a lot of Macklemore's older projects, like Wings and stuff like that. That stuff was so dope to me because it was different. But you got to be able to change with the times as well. And since his style is so much different than what's popular, that's why. Like Lil Mosey's style, that's what's booming right now.
So that means he can fall off next year if it changes.
If the tide changes enough, and you don't conform enough, you don't change your board and customize your board enough to ride whatever wave is coming, you're going to drown.
But like Jay-Z and those people, they don't change. They're like, it's just because they had so many years already, or like.
They also built a name for themselves too. Like they already had that foot in the door, and they adapt that style just slightly enough to have the old heads appreciate it and the new heads appreciate it.
That must be difficult as fuck, though.
Oh no, it's absolutely insanely difficult. It's because it's you never know when it's going to change. And music is turning over so fast that it almost requires you to be creative 100% of the time and be able to change, not necessarily change lanes, but put a variation on your style just enough to fit in and not sell out. It's a constant battle.
Yeah, that's crazy. What's the importance of music for you, though? Like, why are you in music?
So for me, my dad is actually a musician as well. So like I guess growing up, like he was kind of my inspiration because it was like I was just like drowning in music all the time. Like my mom is a big music lover as well, so it's like music was just kind of like everything that was in my household growing up. Plus, it's just like I was a pretty good musician myself.
Dude, you were playing the piano earlier.
Yeah, I mean it's like and that's why, because it brings me joy. Like me, I just do it because it's something that I enjoy doing. Like I really have a passion for it, whether it's playing the drums, whether it's playing the piano, whether it's rapping, whether it's singing. Like it's just something I'm very passionate about. So I think that's what drives me. In the fact that, one, I can help people with what I'm saying and the music that I'm creating. Like music saves lives. Music is a lot more powerful than what people give it credit for. Like music is just as addicting than any drug that anybody could take.
Because it's universal.
Exactly. And there's so many different lanes that people can get adept to. You never know what song is going to help somebody. You never know what song is going to save somebody's life. So the fact that I feel like I have the power to like really shape somebody's life, influence somebody, save a life with what I'm saying, even get somebody through an uncomfortable situation, like that's really important to me. And it's something that my passion is helping somebody else. Like I really love that. Like that's why I do it. And also because like I have a lot of love for my city. Like that's where I grew up at. And if nobody else is going to step up and do it, I'm at least going to lead the charge. And hopefully like everybody else, all these dope artists that are coming out of my city will do the same. So it's basically, I'm just trying to essentially use my passion to influence others.
But let's say let's say a record label gets formed in Seattle and you can make like a decent amount of money, but then there's like a huge record label in LA that's offering you something, and they're offering you more money though. Which one would you take?
I think, it really depends. It really depends. The easy answer would be to say I'm going to take whoever's going to give me more money.
Right.
But at the same time, there is levels to that. Because sometimes that contract with like that it's guaranteeing you $1 million, that little fine print in there is what's going to hold you over in not too long. Or just because you get $1 million does not necessarily mean that they're going to market you correctly. And that happens a lot. Like if you let a record label like take advantage of you, I'm a firm believer that they will, because business is business. Like I said, music is cutthroat. Yeah. And you got to think, in the generation of music that we're in now, it's so competitive. Anybody could it's anybody's game. Anybody can upload a song, and if it gets in the right person's hands, it could blow up. You never know. So like music is just as cutthroat as ever.
That's true.
So it's really looking. So basically what I'm trying to highlight here is the fact that unless you're diverse, unless you know exactly what you're doing, unless you know how to read these contracts, you got to think you're replaceable to a record label, because there's so much talent out there that's being able to be exposed now, that you almost got to think about yourself as replaceable, because you never know who's going to be the next big thing and is going to change the format of music.
But do Do you get angry if you see someone blow up that hasn't put as much time as you have?
Sometimes it's frustrating, yeah. But at the same time, you also got to think they played their cards right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't be mad at somebody else's success because they had connections, like they marketed to themselves. Yeah, it does kind of frustrate me because it's just like, dang, like what do they have that I don't? But at the same time, like I try to shy away from that as well, just because it's like I don't want to hate on anybody else's success.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That just shows me like, hey, I need to either one to go back to trying to crack this algorithm on like how the heck I'm gonna make more connections, because clearly what I'm doing right now is not working. You know what I'm saying? So it's basically, I can't really be mad at them. I'm more mad at, it's more frustrating for myself because like maybe I'm just not working hard enough. Maybe I need to work harder.
That's the doubt thoughts though.
Yeah, but at the same time, different areas are gonna be. It's gonna be easier for you to make connections in different areas, like those Californias, Atlanta, New York. Like it's gonna be a little bit easier to make connections because they're such hotspots. Whereas like Seattle, there's a lot of connections in Seattle, but you really got to know the right people. You know what I'm saying? So it's really about who you know and how you market yourself.
Are you happy you grew up in the music industry, like Seattle music scene?
Oh
Or
yeah.
do you wish you were in LA making?
No. Like I've been to LA lots and lots and lots of times, and I love LA. Like LA is dope. But at the same time, like taking me away from like Washington State I'm not really me anymore. You know, like the culture, like the style, like the different phases of music that have come out of here, just like how rich it is, just like the grunginess, literally like the grunginess. Like I'm talking about like musically the grunginess, the aesthetic, the grunginess, like it all shaped who I am. So if you take me out of that element and me wishing that I was born somewhere else, am I really me anymore? Like I wouldn't have the outlook that I have now.
That's true.
It shaped me. Like my music would probably be a whole lot different if I was from LA.
I think people really do think differently in Seattle compared to other places, though.
Oh, I agree, for sure.
So let's get into this algorithm. What have you broken into, like this algorithm?
Look, I'm still trying to crack it myself, so I'm no expert. But like, whether you're looking at music, whether you're looking at social media, whether you're looking at trying to get playlisted on whatever streaming service that you're doing, it is algorithmic. It's all an algorithm. It's all exact. It's all how you market yourself. So whether that's, if I'm on Instagram and I have a post, my goal is to get comments on that to generate I'm lost for words, to generate impressions.
Right.
So that post is popping up. I'm trying to get on the explore page. Like I'm trying to get impressions. It's not even about the likes and stuff like that. Like that comment section, those impressions are important because like if you pop up on the explore page and how many times are you just on the explore page and you're like, oh, this looks kind of cool, I'm gonna click it and see what pops up, and then now you're a fan of some new shit.
Yeah.
It happens like that explore page. Like, so it's like I'm trying to get on that explore page. I'm trying to encourage people to comment. I'm trying to pop up on people's stories all over the place because you could have a friend who puts your music on their Instagram story, and it gets to another friend that happens to be in a different country that they met when they were on a foreign vacation sometime in like 8th grade, and they're like, oh, this song is dope, I'm going to show it to my friends in this foreign area. And now look, you got fans in a foreign area. So it's like that's algorithmically, that's what I'm talking about. It's like making impressions on every single platform that I'm on. It's just really hard because there's so many different platforms, and the algorithm, it works algorithmically different. And even like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, like it's completely different. You got to learn like the algorithms.
But they're owned by the same person.
Yeah, but it's different. Like the interface, is that the right word?
I guess.
The interface of like Instagram is a lot different than Twitter.
Yeah.
It's like picture based. It's a lot easier to like share it to like a story on like Facebook and Instagram are a little bit closer in the way that they work. But Twitter is like a whole different ballgame. You don't have a story to post to. You're thriving off of retweets. You're thriving off of likes. Those are your impressions. You know what I'm saying? So it's like those retweets, those quote tweets, those likes even, because likes generate impressions and get your post bumped up, and it appears more because it's liked by so many different people. Retweets, you know, somebody retweets a song link that you put out in a different state. Somebody else from another state that they're friends with, that they probably met on a foreign vacation in 8th grade, might also retweet that. And now look, you have fans in different areas. So it's like just cracking the different styles of algorithm. I think that's probably the better phrase. Cracking the different styles of algorithms across different social media platforms.
How do you market yourself right now?
Primarily through Instagram and Twitter. I'm pretty heavy on my Snapchat as well. Like, I feel bad. Sorry to anybody that Snapchats me, but half the time, like, I don't really be looking at my Snapchat like that. Like, I stopped looking at social media as something for fun, and it's more of a tool now. Granted, I will go off and, like, I'm part of, like, different, like, Twitter groups, Instagram groups, you know, like Snapchat groups. Don't worry about that. Like, groups that are that talk about, like, fun stuff. But for the most part, like, I'm also part of a lot of groups that are formed specifically to, like, market.
Yeah.
Like those guys that I was talking to you about on the east side, I'm in a group message with all of them. So it's like, we will take our posts, excuse me, we'll take our posts and whatever we got coming up, we'll post it on Instagram, send it to the group, be like, hey, show this some love, like, send it out, like, even post a comment, like, because we realized that the little impressions work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Do you believe in, like, the timing of when to, like, post on Instagram?
Hell yes.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I didn't think that it used to matter. Like, I just thought about if you were popular and you're popping, it doesn't matter what time that you post whatever. If you're attractive enough and the product that you're pushing is attractive enough for people to like it, they're going to fuck with it regardless. When you're doing something, there's a difference. When you're just a good-looking person, people are probably going to like that post off of sheer thirst, okay? Now, when you have music and you have art, you got to work twice as hard.
Yeah.
Because a good-looking person, single art.
Huh.
You're probably going to like the good-looking person a lot more than the single art attached to a link that you're going to have to go out of your way to listen to and listen to thoroughly, you know?
Yeah.
It's just a lot more steps, so you got to work harder to market it. So, like, every little thing helps. Every little thing, like, counts. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I look at what time my impressions are most booming, and I try to post within that range in regards to, like, music.
Dang.
In regards to, realistically, actually, these days, it's more in regards to anything, because even if I post, like, a picture of myself, it's probably going to have some marketing tied to it. And that's just the name of the game.
At that point, it's not even fun. I'm starting to feel like I feel that with social media too right now. It's like just a tool.
It's not. Like, I haven't enjoyed actually using my social media in a while. Granted, a lot of, like, the photos and stuff on my social media are awesome. Shout out to, like, my media guys, Carter and KB.
Hey.
Like, they really be doing their thing. Like, they put out great work. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I enjoy it to the point of, wow, this is really cool content, like, I have in the palm of my hand that I can, like, show the world and, like, show, like, what my friends are doing, you know? Mm-hmm. Show, like, what I'm doing. Like, that part is freaking phenomenal. Like, I love that. But at what point does it still become part of my job? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, social media no longer is fun to me. It's work. And it has its ups and its downs. You know what I'm saying? Like, on one hand, I have this really cool media that I'm sharing with the world. The other hand, like, I got to make sure I post it at a specific time so it generates the most impressions, because this is my branding. This is my business that I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. And when I'm using, like the music videos and stuff like that, it's not only me. Like, you got to think, like, the director and everything, too. Like, he's trying to make a name for himself as well. Yeah. So it's like, I'm representing not just myself, but the parties also involved. Like, it's a joint effort. So it's like, I want to make the most impressions and get it out there at the best time so that not only me, but, like, KB and Carter can also eat too. You know what I'm saying?
Huh.
And a lot of people don't think about that. They're not thinking about like their teams like that. They're thinking about it at a very individualistic standpoint. And to me, like, that's whack. It's a little bit different if you guys already all have, your whole team already has a platform. But like for guys like us that are really like getting out the mud, like grinding, like constantly trying to put out not just content, but good content, like good quality content all the time. Like, because you got to think, if you have like, if you're getting an average of, we'll say 200 likes, right, on your posts, you're finna be sick if you took the time out of your day to make this dope ass video or do this dope ass photo shoot, and if you post it at a fucked up time and you get like 100 likes, you're gonna be sick. You're gonna be pissed because you just lost half your impressions based off the time that you posted something.
Damn.
It's all an algorithm, man. And that's what I'm saying. Like, casually, social media is one of the funniest things ever.
Yeah.
But on a marketing standpoint, it gets very, very stressful because there's so many levels to it. Like I said, it's all an algorithm.
Does posting music matter to you? Like, does it matter what day of the week you do it? Like, you know, like a lot of big albums come out on Fridays.
So in regards to this, like, when I'm thinking about like the day of the week, I don't really know too much about it. Like, it's kind of harder to tell. Excuse me. But at the moment, the only day that I don't really post is on Sundays, because I was looking at like the impressions and everything like that. And I guess people just aren't not fucking with me on Sundays, I guess.
That's so weird, because I feel like no one has anything to do on Sundays.
They listen to Kanye West.
Sunday service.
They listen to Sunday service, no cap. And I ain't even mad at them. I'm not mad at them. But yeah, so just on Sundays, I guess it's just not it.
Not it.
I try to post kind of consistently throughout the week, but not post too much to where it becomes oversaturated.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, like, nobody wants to see an oversaturated post just devoured by marketing and just one person. Like, you got to give it time to breathe a little bit too. So I try to post. I'm in college.
How do you do that? How do you manage college, work, and music if you do work? Because you have to work to support music.
No, I work 2 day jobs. Music's expensive, especially if you want to be good at it. Marketing is expensive, especially if you want to be good at it. So I got to be able to, like, plus I have like bills just being like a human being. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got stuff that I got to take care of. So you got to do what you got to do, and that's what I'm saying. Like, grinding, like really getting it out the mud.
It is a grind.
Like, you want to see my ass? You better schedule an appointment, because I barely have time to hang out with myself.
Yeah.
Which is like the basis of my new single that's coming out next week. Just barely home. Just dropping next week for everybody that was wondering.
Hey.
Marketing.
At the perfect time. You dropped it at this second of this.
Exactly.
But how do you relate?
Marketing.
How do you relate your music to your everyday life, though? Like, how do you incorporate? Because I work in radio, so it's easy for me to incorporate my podcast into radio. But how do you do that with day jobs and all that?
Whatever time that I have. Like, music for me, like I said, it's something that I'm very passionate about. So whenever I have downtime and I'm in a very creative mood, I just take out the virtual notepad and we just get to writing. Like, whatever I'm feeling at that moment, I'll kind of write it down. And then if I can find a beat to it, then throw it on there, and then we're good to go. If the beat fits the mood to what I just wrote, we got a hit. But sometimes I'll also go to the studio, and I'll just listen. I'll listen to something, and whatever emotion catches me at that moment when I'm listening to that beat. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna come out. That's the product that's gonna come out, and it's happened a couple of times. Like, going into I did a song with Billy's brother, actually, Kinetics. Yeah, we made a song. We made 2 songs, actually, and they're both made in the exact same day. The song Galaxy was kind of the first. It was kind of the first one that we did, and the way that came about was, like, I had been in one of those little creative moods, and I had taken out the virtual notepad and wrote something. And the beat that they played me, the Galaxy beat that they played me, I was like, I have something that's completely perfect for this, because I had already had it prepared. You know, it was a beat that I felt like encapsulated exactly the emotion that I was feeling at the exact time that I was writing this verse.
Yeah.
And that's how that came together. And then you had the end, which is probably arguably one of the my favorite verses that I've ever done, like, to date. And it was basically just like, it was a freestyle. It was a complete and utter freestyle. And it was just because that beat, that's what I was just feeling at that time. And it just happened to align with like the subject matter.
Yeah.
You know? And in Kinetics was just like, yeah, just go crazy. So that's exactly what I did. Like, we'd go in there and I'd start spitting and I'd be like, hold on, run that back. I think I can do something better. And it was just a 100% freestyle, like 100% completely organic. And so
that's nice though.
Yeah, so it really just kind of depends. Like, that's how I balance it. Sometimes I have something prepared, sometimes I don't. But like, if I catch a mood and I catch a vibe, like Barely Home, like I had just gotten off of work.
And you're barely home.
I was on my way from the west side to the east side. About a whole day of travel right there, just like exhausted.
Yeah.
And I was looking at beats. I was on the beat store, on this app called Voloco, actually. And it's like a place where I like to record a lot of my rough drafts. Mm-hmm. And I heard this beat and I was just like, oh man, like I really feel this. Like, I feel like I could write something about this. And that's how Barely Home came to be. So yeah, I'm very excited, just because like I'm really finally starting to not only dial into my style, but dialing into my writing process.
And you're making dope ass connections like along the way.
Along the way, exactly.
It's so
like,
fun making those connections.
You know, like I have producers that I'm working with in like Germany. You know, so it's like making those connections slowly but surely. Like, it's a grind. Like, not everybody's going to find overnight success. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it happens, but it's very, very rare. Like, it takes people 2, 3, 4 years. Shoot, it might take people 10 years. But you just gotta keep at it.
Yeah, it's the journey. Do you think you find better connections in college or when you're out about in the city?
Honestly, being in a college town is a blessing. I personally don't feel like my music would be doing as well as it is now if I wasn't in college. I wouldn't have had any inspiration to write this new music that I have if I weren't in college anyway, just because like a lot of the music I have now is inspired by mistakes, relationships that have gone bad, like emotions that only I would have only felt if I were at college. Right. So it's like, plus like I'm making music to like inspire like kids that are my age. Not even kids, we're grown ass adults now. Like, people that I've grown up with the entire time, like inspiring like people around me, my own age group, because I know they can relate to what I'm saying. So it's like being in a college town was an absolute blessing because I know that they can relate. Like, I dropped the first song I ever dropped on any like major SoundCloud. I dropped on any platform in general. Right. Like I said, Vivid was one that was written, but I waited to drop it on my EP. Right. There's a song called Wonder Wheel, which I want to bring to major platforms soon, but it's an uphill battle. Licensing is a bitch, quite frankly. Yeah, so right. Trying to get the licensing from that. But Wonder Wheel, that song is the song that really started it all for me. Like, personally, like I just got in the studio with my guy Gavin. Shout out to him. Go check him out. GAVN ! Yeah, go check him out. But he's also my engineer, and so we went to college together.
That's dope. And
so we were just like kicking it and like making music, and I made this song. And originally I was just gonna kind of release it with the rest of the EP, but Gavin was like, "We should drop it as a single," just because singles are like the gateway.
Yeah. Like the gateway drug.
Yeah, essentially, they're like the gateway to how like musicians are really found.
Yeah.
If you have a good single, people are more likely to hear that single and be like, okay, we want to hear more from this artist. So what we did is we marketed Wonder Wheel as a single and then put it on the EP as well, just to kind of get people engaged. Within the first 2 days, it had 4,000 plays. Oh, shit. And I attribute that to being in a college town.
Dude.
Because it was a song, even though it's a pretty hype song, like it's a song that was based off like the inner pain that I essentially had caused myself through making a lot of really bad mistakes, you know? But it's like, it was such a common mistake that a lot of people could relate to. And even if they didn't make the same mistake, like the emotions that I talk about in the song, they can relate to while still being able to turn up to it because the beat is dope. You know what I'm saying? So it was that connection there with like people in my own age group that it just happened to be in my town. Plus it's like, I don't like to look at myself as like any type of person that's like special because I make music, because I have a couple of connections now. Like I'm still just a dude that attends Central Washington University. Like I'm just like everybody else. So I feel like people being able to connect with the fact that they're just like me, you know, I'm not above anybody. I'm not below anybody. Like it's just,
it's your journey.
This is just my journey. Like I'm doing the same thing that you are essentially. I'm just singing about it in a song, in song format, you know what I'm saying? So being in a college town really just like allows me to flourish because it's so easy to market to people my age. And then being able to play a music festival over there last year at my college, like with Hobo Johnson, like that's crazy.
Yeah.
So not only are they hearing my music from like this, from like just a kid that goes to their college, you know what I'm saying? Like a guy just pursuing his dreams. Now they're getting to see like my development, you know? And it's like almost on a more intimate level with everybody because they already know me. Like they know me personally because I'm just a college student trying to make his dreams come true. So when they see me on stage at a big music festival like that, like maybe it inspires them to like pursue their dreams too. Like if they have, aside from like their career, maybe if they want to be an artist, you know what I'm saying? Whether it be music, whether it be painting, whether it be whatever artistic goals they have, maybe that just inspired them to go pursue that and go for that because they see me, just your average kid from Kent who decided to go wrestle at college.
You're wrestling in college?
Well, yeah. So I wrestled for the last 3 years. I decided to not wrestle my senior year though, just because I wanted to focus on music.
What's your weight class?
I wrestled 149 pounds every single year.
I'm the same weight as you.
It's a big cut. It was a big cut. It was a big cut. It was tough. But yeah, I decided to put that aside. It was my passion, like for sure. And I spent a lot of time getting really good at it, but it was just like my time to let it go. But yeah, being in college, I think it just shows like you can be the most average person, you know what I'm saying? But if you like work hard enough and you really work to make those connections, you can thrive. And I think being in like a college town, like really kind of, I don't want to give myself too much credit, but like really had the chance to inspire people to like go for the dreams other than what they're pursuing in school. So, yeah.
Do you think you have a leg up compared to artists who aren't going to college? Because you get those connections, you're able to perform at college parties and all that stuff.
See, it's a double-edged sword because you got to think, yeah, being in college and being in a college town has its perks because you can market, you can talk about subject matter that people in college can relate to, but you don't have as much time to write and record. If you're not going to school and you kind of have a job, you have a lot of time to like write, record, and really hone your craft. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. I personally don't have a leg up. I think I have, in terms of marketing, it's easier for me to push my product because I'm constantly around people. It's super easy for me to go to the gym. Oh, hey, I got a new song coming out, dropping at this day, this time. Link will be on my Instagram. It's easy to make those Instagram connections, whereas like if you're not in college, you really got to go out and try to like meet new people. So yeah, I think both have their perks.
Do radio stations in college like help promote up and coming artists or?
Yeah, if you know the right people. If you know the right people, for sure.
That's wherever you would go, I guess. You just need to know people.
Yeah, I mean, it also depends on like I said, the product that you're pushing.
Yeah.
Like we have a radio station over in Central. Shout out 88.1 The Berg, but I'm trying to push to get my music on there. But I know like there's regulations, like there's rules and regulations to what you can and you cannot say. I know that I swear a lot in my music sometimes, but because that's just my art. Like it just helps me express my emotions. But like I mean, like the people at like the radio stations and everything, they always show love to a lot of different artists around. Like if they're putting on events, they'll look for like local artists. Like the music festival, Wildfest, they actually held auditions to actually be able to perform that. And so I mean, I was blessed with being able to be like the headliner. I mean, not the headliner, but the opener for the headliner. I'm sorry. And that just happened to, I just happened to be blessed. But like without like 88, like not even 88 won the Berg, but just like Siwoo Hype and the different teams like that work for the school, giving like artists a chance, I would have never had that spot. So yes, they do. They play I guess a big part. I mean, you're probably not going to find your music on the radio station because there's a lot of things that you got to go through. It's a lot of making sure like everything is FCC appropriate. You know?
FCC, that's why I made this podcast, dude. FCC, that shit will get you.
Yeah,
the fines on top of everything too.
Oh yeah, no, I see. Look, I am in college. I cannot pay for that shit. So you're not gonna you're me cussing on the airwave. I will censor it. It'll be some plain ass water. Like it was some plain ass water. There will be absolutely no crystal light up in that bitch. You getting plain ass water. But if I can get on the radio, that's more exposure that helps me. You know, more people are going to hear it.
What does it feel like performing at college and then coming back to Seattle and performing?
It's different. Like when you're in a college town, especially when people know you, they generally like you. Like, I mean, if they're going out of their way to support you, they probably like either the music that I'm making or they just like me as a person. Like, it's just a lot of support. Now, when I come back to Seattle, it's different. Because now when I'm in college, it's like a crowd of people that know me. You know, like, my name kind of, like, is resonating right now just because I've been putting out so much content, marketing myself in the way that I have been. Now, in Seattle, I'm unknown. I'm not shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, people know who the hell I am. They're like, John Thomas. Like I said, they thought I was a white guy. So it's like I got to work that much harder.
Damn.
But at the same time, it molds me into a better artist. It makes my stage presence that much better.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to hype up a crowd that already knows you. I got to work that much harder to hype up a crowd that I'm relatively unknown to. And I like it. It's like a challenge to me.
But how'd you get over that stage fright that much that you're like, okay, I'm happy with either crowd?
So personally, the way that I did it, I started just like, I would do this thing every Friday. Shout out to my guy Bell. We kind of started doing this at the same time, but we would just do this thing called Freestyle Friday. And basically it would just be me freestyling on my Snapchat. And I just post it to the story. And whatever reactions I got. And slowly, like, if we're at a party, I would just freestyle at a party. And eventually, like, it got to the point of where it's like I'm performing whatever in front of tons of people. So if it's like, if I can think about some shit off the top of my head and just, like, spit it in a public place and still it's accepted, my written stuff will be fine. And it took a little bit, like it took a couple of years to really like have the confidence to like perform, especially after like striking out the way that I did, and essentially forgetting my lyrics on stage. Not even essentially, that's exactly what the fuck happened. I forgot my lyrics on stage in front of Vince Staples and fucking Audio Push.
That's fucked.
And having to like freestyle that whole shit because I couldn't keep it together because of stage fright. You know.
Shit.
It took a second.
That'll mold you, though.
Yeah, it does, because it was like, oh, shit, what if it happens again? But there was another half of me that was like, that shit ain't never happening again, because I refused to let that happen.
Yeah. Damn.
So, yeah, it's basically, I just had to nut up or shut up, and really just put my foot forward and just look, you're not going to mess up again. We're showing out every single time. So I don't care if you have to go up on stage and start while you're in church and freestyling about Jesus, but you're gonna go up there and you're gonna do your thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna get over the stage fright somehow. And it was also because like I also played in a metal band called Salem Nights.
Oh shit.
And as the drummer is that, and that helped me a little bit as well, because like even though I'm not rapping, I think that rapping on stage for me is a little bit harder than playing the drums, just because I've been playing the drums for so long. Like that's my first instrument. Like that's really introduced to me to music in general. So it's like I speak the language of drums like a little bit better. Damn. But it definitely helped, because it's like I'm playing in front of crowds of people, and they're still like, okay, I can mess up a drum part, you know, but it's like keep on going.
People know, no one knows really when you mess up a drum part unless they know the song by heart.
Yeah, exactly. See, it's a little bit different, but it definitely helped in the fact like, okay, I can go in front of these people. Mistakes are going to happen. That's just what happens when you perform live. Not every sound technician is going to be able to dial you in the way that you like to sound. Like, not everything's going to go your way. Not even like in music, but in life. Not everything's going to go your way. So you just got to keep pushing.
That's true.
And keep it rocking. So it's like, and that's what playing in Salem Nights really taught me. Is just like mistakes are going to happen. You just got to keep going. Like, that's what freestyling in front of people at college parties taught me. Like, sometimes you're gonna mess up, and what you're saying is not gonna make sense, but you just got to keep it going. And then so like that same hustle, along with like me really working on my lyricism and basing it off the experiences that I had actually experienced, and it all just like came through. It was just an amalgamation of like my growth and my development over the years. Like, it all really just like kind of shapes me, plus my degree as well.
What did you read a degree in? By the way?
So by spring I'll have my degree in communication studies, and then I have a minor in philosophy and reasoning, and it all helps because like some of the stuff that I'm reading and that I'm analyzing really helps me understand like human communication, and not only that on the basis of like verbals and nonverbals, but the reason behind all of it. So I mean, and then the philosophy also helps me.
That's a leg up for sure, though.
I guess, but it's because I actually read my textbooks though, and I actually study.
That's what you're doing.
I really do study, and I take it seriously because I know this interview right now that we're having would not be possible without my degrees. You know what I'm saying? I would not be well spoken at all. Like, I'd probably be rambling. I probably wouldn't have anything to say. Just like,
dude, when people say, "What were we talking about again?" It kills me. Yeah,
and see, if I didn't have any training, and if I didn't really study, like, I don't feel like I'd be able to have that amount of control. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And plus, it also aids in my music. That's more connections that I can make. Like, more similes, more metaphors, like more connections to, like, text to text, text to world. You know, that's a lot of stuff that I can make connections to within my within my music.
Get an F now.
Yeah, that's tough. It allows me to be that much better of a writer.
Dude, but that being versatile in music in general is good, because like we were saying, anyone can hop into the studio and like make a song to put out to the world.
For sure.
But to know how to play the piano, the drums, incorporate rock, or even understand rock or metal or any of these types of things that help create Seattle and make it your own uniqueness.
Yeah, and see, the way that I would kind of explain, like, my sound is I'm a lyricist who likes to make people connect to what I'm saying in the most hype way possible.
Yeah.
And that's by using like my upbringing, like the different styles that I've played, like my different life experiences, and just meshing it all together to kind of make it something hype but relatable.
That's what life's all about.
Exactly.
You know?
And there's a lot of artists, I feel like there's a lot of artists now where they make really relatable music based heavily on lyricism, but a lot of people will think that it's boring because it's, you know what I'm saying?
Chance's new album.
Yeah, like a lot of people, there was a big like backlash about J. Cole and people saying that his music's boring. I personally think his music's fucking phenomenal. Like, he's one of my biggest inspirations. But like, I think that hate comes from because it's not hype. You know what I'm saying? But there's also music that's super hype and just gets you in the zone. And when you just really want to get away from whatever you're feeling, it just allows you to get in that zone. But sometimes they're not really saying too much.
But you don't have to sell out in that way. Like, Kendrick does that.
Exactly.
Like, that's the type of level I like.
See, I like to be somewhere right in the middle where I can say exactly what I'm feeling, but make it a song that people can move to. If you're not like dancing, you're not raging to it, you're at least going to be able to like nod your head to it, or even jump, even jump around. You know what I'm saying? And that's why like Kendrick Lamar and Travis Scott are like two of my, and I guess Metallica too, are like, those are like my big three inspirations.
That's insane.
Because they're all able to do that.
Yeah.
Like, there's songs where you're gonna want to mosh, you're gonna want to rage, you're just want to go crazy, you're gonna want to crowd surf. But at the same time, a lot of the time they're saying stuff that's just like, okay, wow, this actually has a message. And I like that. Well, the message is going to vary. You know what I'm saying?
How do you make sure you're unique though? Because everyone, I see this too. Like everyone can have their own unique upbringing and stuff, but they still decide to sound like someone else. Like,
that's true. And so I'd say that I'm unique, and this is how I personally do it. And this is just like based off critiques that I've been told. People have told me, they're like, I really respect the fact that you pay homage to like your idols. Like you can hear a lot of like the Travis Scott influence. You can hear a lot of the Kendrick Lamar influence within my style of music, but I put my own spin to it. And it's like I don't try to. I essentially stay in my own lane. And it's like I don't try to incorporate too many elements because I don't want to be a copycat of my idols. Like I want to be set myself apart, but still letting that inspiration show. So I don't think there's really a concrete answer on exactly how I do it. It's just like I take the influences of like my favorite artists and I put my own little spin on it, like whatever I'm feeling, throw in like the emotions that I'm feeling, because I know I didn't live the same life as Kendrick Lamar. I know I didn't live the same life as Travis Scott, you know? So it's like, I guess it's in my lyricism.
Right.
It's in my lyricism, like the way that my vocal inflections, like there's little tiny things, like little tiny musical things. Like our ears for music are different, but very similar.
How do you explain to an older person, like how do you explain rap to them? Because when I do it, I automatically try to like shut down the stigmas towards it and everything. So nowadays, because of how big rap is, how do you describe rap?
So that's a tough question. That's a really tough question to answer. You can't. You really can't. There's like so many different lanes of rap that I feel like just the word quote unquote rap, it's almost too generic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So instead of trying to explain rap, I'll take whatever music style they like listening to, and I'll try to put them on to artists that I think, while it probably won't be exactly their style, it'll still make them comfortable enough to listen. You know what I'm saying? And it depends on like how old they are and like when they grew up, because different artists are going to incorporate different elements from different eras. Like for example, if I were going to try to talk to my grandpa, he came up in like that Motown era, you know what I'm saying? And so like if I was going to show him some hip hop, I'm probably going to gravitate towards a Kendrick Lamar who's like using like George Clinton features, you know what I'm saying?
Bro, the Isley Brothers.
You know, like, and who's going to be using like almost bringing G-Funk back to where he's incorporating those samples that he can hear and be like, oh, I know what artist is also on this song because like they were coming up at the same time that I was, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's just like finding a lane that's relatable enough. Like I'm not gonna go show like my grandpa some Smoke Purple, Lil Pump. Like it's just, he'd be like, this is not it. Like what is this? Like you young whippersnappers over here listening to this newfangled music. So if I can find something that's a little bit more relatable for him, he'll be able to connect to it and be like, okay, maybe this isn't as bad as what I thought it was.
Why does rap have this stigma though? I keep seeing this statistic places where it says that country talks more about drugs and women than rap does even.
It's because in country, it still has to be somewhat radio friendly to get on the radio. Like they got to find a way to mask it. Whereas hip hop's very in your face. It's very blatant. It's very unforgiving. And I think that's why it's this unforgiving nature that kind of gives it the stigma that it does. Plus you got to think about when hip hop was first being introduced, like what was going on in the world. You know, you had the war on drugs at full force. And the only reason it's the way that it is because hip-hop is being talked about from the perspective of where that artist was when they were writing that music.
Yeah.
So if you really want something to change, you need to do something about the urban areas that these people are growing up in, because they are really shaping their music to reflect their life influences. So if you really want like there to be a shift in what hip-hop is talking about, you need to do something about these communities. And if you're not willing to at least try to do something about the communities and help the upbringing of these young artists, then don't talk shit about it. I don't want to hear you talking about nothing
Yeah.
in regards, because how are you going to tell somebody how to live their life when you didn't fucking experience it? You know what I'm saying? You feel me?
Yeah, I do.
Just because, like, for for example, you can't tell me not to write music about falling in love, falling out of love, rapping about my personal experiences, because you didn't experience those experiences. So who are you to try to censor me because of my life influences? You sound dumb.
Yeah.
You sound stupid. I wouldn't, if you made a song about doing whatever you're doing, I'm not going to sit up here and be like, well, you and your entire genre needs to change because your life experiences don't correlate with mine. Do you see how stupid that fucking sounds? That is stupid. Like, no, see? So instead of trying to like maybe put you can put critiques, because everybody is entitled to their opinion on music, but you can't try to tell somebody that they need to change the entire tide of what they're talking about because you didn't live those experiences that they went through. Music is poetry. Like, you're talking about exactly what you went through. You know what I'm saying? Or you're talking about like what you did in order to cope with what you were going through. It's a coping mechanism. You can't just tell somebody you need to change that because it doesn't fit with my ideals. That's basically what people are saying.
Yeah. That is messed up.
It like I said, like, it all goes back to like this theory of this theory of, to a sense, it's all a part of a bigger picture. Music itself is an algorithm if you think about it. It's no different.
Definitely.
It's no different than social media. Like, hip hop artist grows up, rough to semi-rough childhood, a lot of rough experiences, takes that, writes about it. You know what I'm saying? And it's all just, it happens. We all go through like different things in our lives, and we all experience different things that shape who we are as musicians. We all have different upbringings in different areas.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why Jay-Z is still successful, I think, because he still raps about his experiences that are continuing to happen right now. He's not just talking about drugs and all that stuff.
Yeah, he's talking about like the now. He's just rapping about his experiences.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, my music's not going to be centered around like gang lifestyle or gang activity, because like I know that's not where I grew up at. Yes, it was going on in my area, but it's not something that I was directly a part of. Maybe by association, but it's like not something that I was personally involved in myself. So I know I'm not going to talk about that, but I am going to talk about my other experiences, and sometimes that just involves like, if I did drugs at one point, that's what I was going to talk about. Like, if I was feeling down about something because mistakes that I made, that's what I'm going to talk about. Like, because that's all I'm at liberty to talk about, because that's what I experienced.
That comes with finding your voice too, though, I think. You're the first person you're like one of the first people who's like, I found my voice, versus just being like, yeah, this is my music. But finding your voice and then actually truly making music go hand in hand, I think, because anyone can make music for fun.
Exactly.
But I think that's why it's rough for some like up and coming artists, like even like Little Tekka or something like that, to blow up that young. Because you were saying like 18, that's young as hell.
Yeah, Tekka's really young. Tekka's what, 17?
Yeah. So there's no way you can truly have your voice that young, you know, like you could be on the path, but like
I think so. For like, in regards to younger artists, I think that certain artists have gone through more difficult things depending on where they're from, like the areas that they lived in. So I mean, I don't think I'm at liberty to say, oh, he hasn't really gone through enough,
right?
But at the same time, like at that young of an age, there's still a lot of time for young artists to mature and go through even more and have more subject matter to talk about.
But that's why I just think older artists need to help out younger artists with that kind of perspective.
No, for sure. I think part of it is like,
because the label just like runs your life.
Exactly.
That's what I mean, like by finding your voice, like the label is your voice kind of right now.
To a sense, yeah. Because it's like I said, at the end of the day, music is business. It's marketing.
Yeah.
So like, your label has to try to help you market yourself in a way that's going to help your music pop off. So yeah, that's the tail of the tape on that.
That's true.
That's just a fact, Jack.
Well, What is some advice that you have for up-and-coming Seattle artists, creators, influencers?
Spread the fucking love. Like, this is as much of it. I'm gonna use a metaphor here.
Hey.
Actually, it's a simile because I'm gonna use like or as. Music is like wrestling. It's like the sport of wrestling. It's very individualistic, but at the same time, it's also a team sport. Like, the artists in your area that you're rocking with, like, if you're winning individually, like, that's cool. But at the same time, why just win individually when your entire team can win? And I think, and another thing is just keep at it. Like, keep on working. Like, there's some days where I feel like, dang, like, this song's not doing well enough. Like, maybe I should just quit because people aren't, they're not liking it as much, you know? They're not vibing with me. Like, they're not really showing love. But at the same time, like, if people see that people are showing you love, they're probably going to follow suit.
Mm-hmm.
Because they realize that you're popular. And that's just how it is. That's just life. Like, if people are cheering you on, a lot of people are probably going to follow suit. And if a lot of people are hating, it's going to be the same thing. And that's just the sad truth. So as artists, young, old, anywhere in between, that are still trying to find their voice or struggling with deciding if they want to continue, just keep it up. Keep trying to hone your craft, because you never know. You could quit. The stars could align, and you could quit the day before you blow up. You know what I'm saying? So you'll never know unless you keep trying. So just keep at it. That's the only way you're going to win, is if you keep on striving.
Yes. What are some final words you have for Seattle?
Shout out to everybody that's been riding with me the last year. 2019 was basically the warm-up. Life of an Oddball, still on SoundCloud, still will be there. A lot of new music dropping soon, man. So just keep a lookout on that. Barely Home, dropping sooner than you thought. Next week, to be exact. So keep on the lookout for that. Watch the Me and My music video live on IGTV and YouTube. Follow me on social media at FML John Thomas, Instagram, Twitter. Yeah, that's it. John Thomas in this bitch.
There we go.
Yes, sir.
DJ Blake.